How important is a good gimmick in professional wrestling? Performers don't necessarily need a good gimmick to be a success, after all. Pro wrestling history is full of megastars whose gimmicks didn't extend beyond the old your own personality turned up to 11 cliche, because if you have the talent, the confidence, and the look, a good gimmick isn't so important, but a bad gimmick can be utterly fatal to the career and fortunes of a professional wrestler. Find yourself saddled with a lame duck persona, and your credibility can be torn to shreds, leading to a career regression that many struggle to recover from. Just ask Mantor, Friar Ferguson, TL Hopper, the bloody goon. Those names are part of wrestling history, but the current landscape has its fair share of stinkers too, with both WWE and AEW at fault on a number of occasions. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are the 8 absolute worst gimmicks in wrestling today. Number 8, Brandy Rhodes. Does Brandy Rhodes have a gimmick, or is the problem that she has too many? One week, she's a cocky heel. The next, she is the brave woman protecting her family. She cuts promos as if she was a wily veteran, yet backs it up with youthful exuberance. She seems to carry her action figure wherever she goes, despite not doing anything that justifies the figure's existence. Brandy Rhodes is all things at once, meaning she is kind of none of them at all. In fact, her gimmick seems to be that she eats at the top table and thus can be all things she wants to be at all times. She clearly wants to be taken seriously as an in-ring competitor, but it is way cooler to do that as a blurred lines badass, so a blurred lines badass she is. When the Nightmare family is under attack, all signs of that heel badass, though, are gone, replaced with valiance and bravery. By portraying childish versions of everyone's favourite wrestling personas, Brandy Rhodes has become a performer without a character, with a mess of a gimmick that confuses and irritates. The sooner she settles, the better. Number 7, King Corbin. Poor old Baron Corbin just can't catch a break, can he? A long-time martyr for the poor state of WWE programming, Corbin has lurched from one uninspired feud to another, constantly getting blamed for monotonous matches and dull TV. Corbin's improvements seem to go unnoticed, ignored if you will. That he's developed into a more than serviceable television wrestler seems to have gone over the heads of many viewers. None of that changes the ridiculousness, though, of the King gimmick. The poisoned crown of royalty sits heavy on the head of Big Banter Baron. Shorn of his rough and ready edges, the pompous form of aristocracy is not a fit for the former United States champion. Baron Corbin is a tough bastard, not a king. Besides, why are we still seeing people get saddled with the King gimmick in 2020? There are no benefits to it whatsoever, and the sooner Corbin sheds it, the better for all involved. Number 6, Robert Stone. Whether or not it is a Tony Khan parody remains up in the air, but is there a less effective character on WWE today than Robert Stone? He turned up one day just talking about his brand, a brand that has cobbled together approximately bugger all victories in its time on NXT. As of right now, the Robert Stone brand consists of the man himself and Aaliyah, a 7-year veteran who repeatedly stands out as the least improved performer on the roster. If Robert Stone is indeed a parody of Tony Khan, who cares? Wrestling history is full of parodies of the competition, petty renderings of powerful people designed to belittle and reduce, almost all of which have been largely forgettable and unsuccessful. Why would Stone be any different? The existence of Robert Stone makes zero difference to how well or how poorly AEW does in any way at all. All of that is true, but it doesn't make childish renderings of powerful people any less of a misstep. The man stuck in the gimmick is doing a sterling job of it, but the limitations and the transparency of it are clear for all to see. Number 5, Dexter Loomis. Ugh, the creep from the creep farm. There are a lot of unwritten rules in both professional wrestling and TV, but one is almost certainly universal. Silent pseudo-serial killers should not be portrayed as a babyface heroes on TV. Okay, so that might not actually be an unwritten rule, and Dexter Loomis hasn't actually killed a bunch of people, but the point still stands. There are a lot of reasons to throw shade at NXT in 2020, but the fact that there was a moment where Dexter Loomis was arguably the brand's biggest babyface may just be the biggest of them all. Loomis, yes, has a unique look, that much is undeniable, but the rest of the gimmick just stinks. The tortured artist doesn't speak and barely sells, yet people will still crow that far more talented performers don't get the push they deserve because they can't cut promos. If your boy doesn't speak and can't sell, what hope is there? The gimmick may have brought Loomis to TV, but it has almost immediately left him in a creative sodding straitjacket. Modern television's desperation with having edgy good guys and blurring the lines between good and bad has a lot to answer for. Number 4, Akira Tazawa. WWE's talent-heavy roster has led to some seriously impressive professional wrestlers getting saddled with nonsense gimmicks in the hope of consistent TV appearances, which is the only plausible explanation as to why the ultra-talented Akira Tazawa has been randomly portraying a ninja for the last few months. A former WWE Cruiserweight champion, and a good one at that, as part of Titus Worldwide. Where were we? Akira Tazawa deserves more than his current lot, although that should be true of almost anyone that has ever been eaten by a shark. The comedy role may be the easiest ticket in pro wrestling, but Tazawa is better than his current spot. More importantly, the ninja gimmick is death. A character from a different time that made little sense even in its own heyday. It is far too open to humiliation and jokes of a, let's just say, questionable origin. Ninjas? Come on, WWE. You're better than that, I think. Number 3, Kris Statlander. Kris Statlander is an alien. There. That's all there is to it. Why was Jim Ross so confused? She's an alien? No need to ask any more questions, mate. Okay, but despite what Andy Murray might insist, we are yet to prove the existence of aliens. So is she a missing link? Shouldn't she be on international news, not duking it out in a professional wrestling promotion? I'm no science major, but actual living proof of an alien comes off as something that might be considered quite a big deal. Not that AEW's women's division isn't a big deal, of course, but it doesn't quite compare to, well, you know, the biggest scientific breakthrough in modern history. Oh, so she's just portraying an alien. Okay, why though? None of this has been explained. Granted, not everything in professional wrestling needs to be explained, but this seems like something that should benefit from even the tiniest bit of backstory. Statlander could develop into a serious player in the world of professional wrestling, but she sure as hell isn't going to do it while portraying a poorly conceived alien with little to no backstory. Boop. Number 2, Michael Nakazawa. In the cartoon world of independent wrestling, a character like Michael Nakazawa could be a lot of fun. The baby oil is wacky, the man has great facial impressions, and the whole shtick is tailor-made for getting a laugh in the confined environment of a gym or leisure centre. It is an indie gimmick, and there is nothing wrong with that. The problems arise once that gimmick finds its way onto national TV. Rewind back to Double or Nothing, the first official AEW pay-per-view, and the Casino Battle Royale that opened the buy-in pre-show. See if you can spot me in the crowd. Yeah, I'm the one who looked quite a bit shocked when Jon Moxley showed up. Anyway, in a Battle Royal that already included some weird gimmicks, Nakazawa sticks out like a sore thumb. A change-the-channel gimmick in a world that needed to establish itself before anything else. Many of the gimmicks on this list are largely harmless, creative missteps that do more damage to individual careers than the fates of companies. Not so, though, with Nakazawa. His is a gimmick that turns viewers off and damages AEW's overall credibility. It's amazing what the liberal application of baby oil can do to the way a wrestling company is perceived and enjoyed. Number 1, Retribution. Even before the wacky names, Retribution was a bit of a bust. The influence behind the gimmick was as clear as day, a transparent bit of playground backchatting that is as poorly constructed as it is childishly conceived. In short, Vince McMahon is a wealthy man who is too ignorant to understand why people around the world would take to the streets to protest inequality and social injustice. Enter Retribution. The group has some serious talent within its ranks. Mustafa Ali has long been considered one of the most misused performers on the roster, while Dominik Dijakovic has had no shortage of great matches in recent years. The same can be said of Mia Yim, and Shane Thorne has proven himself to be a more than reliable performer between the ropes. Plus, Dio Maddin's tall. But no amount of talent will save this. The McMahon family is just about as far removed from the issues that people protest, and Retribution is the result. An embarrassingly childish attempt at relevance, complete with logical issues and wacky camera shaking. The men and women in the group are tremendous performers, but there is no worse gimmick in the world of professional wrestling today. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter here, and you can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.